Soundgarden, Burden in My Hand. Okay, this is the alternative drop D method using the capo on the first fret. Just to get around doing that super elaborate CGC GGE tuning. You know, if you just want to be able to get to a quicker tuning, not have to mess around so much, and still be able to play a reasonable sounding facsimile of the song. You might sacrifice a couple little tonal things here and there, no big deal. I think this is pretty passable. So, like I said, we'll just do a drop D, so E to D, and then just capo that first to help us out a little bit. All right, so we're essentially just barred at the E flat there. And for the initial intro verse progression here, we're just hanging out in this C chord. So we'll hit the bass note a couple times at 3 on the A. And all these frets I'm laying out here are exactly how they are in the tab. You know, I'm not doing anything subjective to the capo. We're just keeping that on the first to help us, all right? So all the frets are the exact frets we're talking about. So, yep, couple 3 on the A for the C bass notes. Come down, hit the rest of the chord at the 5s on the D, G, B. And we'll just strum through that kind of loosely, you know, a few times here. Just a little shuffle strum there. And come back, hit the 3s again for the C bass notes. Lift off of those 5s so that we just are really focusing on these 3 on the G, B, and E. And then we come hit a 5 on the E with those 3 on the B and the G. Back off to just 3s. Okay, it's playing around that C7 suspended chord. And now we're going to move to a B flat major 7 suspended second. Sounds complicated, but we're just cruising up here to kind of like a power chord shape on the 8 of the low D here. Just hit that a couple times. And then we'll hit 10s on the G, B, and D here, middle D. Just a few strums on that. Move to this power chord shape at the E flat with the 6A, 8s on the D, G, B. And then land back on our C at the 3A, 5 on the D, G, B. Couple strums, come on over, hit the 7 on the B. Back off to 5. Pre-chorus, this is really where our capo on the 1 is going to help us out, because we need to do that really quick pull off from G to the C to B flat back to the G, you know, and typically it would be like a down-tuned A to G string, and we just do a quick little pull off, you know, like that. But since we want to keep it in this simplified tuning, we can do it this way, where we'll get our G on that 5 of the low D, pull the 3 on the A off to that 1 with the capo helping, back to the 5 on the low D for the G. Okay, it just takes a little bit of technique there. And then we'll quickly have to move to our E flat power chord at the 6A, 8 on the D, G, B. Okay, strum that a few times. Slide it up 2 frets for the F at the 8A, 10 on the D, G, B. Give that a few strums. And we'll move to this new chord here, the G suspended 4. And we'll just, hit the 5 on the low D, and just, kind of keep that A muted. It's no big deal. A string. And then the 5 on the middle D and a 5 on the G. I'm just kind of worrying about 3 notes there. Try to keep everything else, muted. And it's just like a 1, 2, 3. And then we move our pinky up and have the 4 on the G behind it for just a regular G chord. Just give that 3 strums. Alright, and we cruise through that section a few times. And we wrap up the pre-chorus by doing the same start, that little pull-off riff. Our E flat power chord. But now we shift to a new spot. We'll do our B flat power chord by just 8s on the DAD with the 10 on the G. And then move down to a F by just 3s on the DAD, do the 5 on the G, and we can add a 5 on the E. Just do a few strums there. And this is going to be the start of a repeated progression where we have our F like that, come off to the E flat, and it's this big E flat chord where we can make use of that capo again by just having it hold down the 1 1 1 on the DAD, and we'll make like this D shape here, this D chord shape, but it'll be fret higher. So now we got the E flat at the 3 G 4 B 3 on the high E, because that's helping us out here, because we want to be able to come over and hit this 5 on the high E and then back off to the 3 on the E. All right, back to our F shape at the 3s with the 5s, and like I said, we'll just repeat that to that E flat with the little 3 5 3. Do that a few times. We just land on our C chord here, the 3 with the 5s, and come up, and we want to add this, sixth note here at the 5 high E, and just go 5 to 3. Okay, well, something like that. And for the chorus section, we come up and do this higher voiced C now. So we're going to add a couple new little notes with it here. So just 10s on the DAD, and we want the 12 on the G and a 12 on the E. Try to keep that B string muted. Okay, because after a certain few strums with that, then we're going to add this 11 on the B. Take that, slide it down to 8s on the DAD, come off, and we want to add this 12 on the G. And if that's too much for a stretch for you, no big deal. You can hit it here with this 8 on the B as well. But I like to add that 12 just because in the original recording tuning, they have that 2 G strings, so you get that doubled sound. And it's a nice way to make it sound like that here. Okay, just getting that note twice there makes it sound a lot closer. But if that's too rough, then you can just kind of, worry about hitting that B like that with the 8s and maybe add like a 10. But I like to add the 12. And then we go from that 12 to 10 on the G. All right, and from there, we do this riff where we're at the A flat power chord, so 6 on the DAD with the 8 on the G, down to the basically just lift off, have the 1s held by the capo for the E flat, and we add the 3 G 4 B. All right, and we do our 1 2 3 riff with the B flat 5 at the 8 on the DAD with the 10 on the G, down to 4s for this G flat power chord, keeping that 6 on the G, and then land on the 3s on the DAD with the 5 G 5 E for the F. Bridge section. Kind of a fun assortment of a lot of chords we've seen, maybe a new one here or there. So we'll start at the A flat now, so 6s on the DAD, and we're going to do this where for the most part, we're going to go for the 6th of like the A flat to a 7th, and that's kind of what we'll do for most of these chords, is go from like the 6th to the 7th, of the chord, not the fret. So coincidentally, we'll be here at the 6th fret. 6-8 on the DAD with the 8 on the G. Come on over, hit the 10 on the G. Back to the 8 and add a 7 on the B. So we're going A flat 6, A flat 7. Alright, and then we're going to do that at the C spot here. So we'll be at 3 on the A, 5 on the D, and the G. Come on over, add the 7 on the D for the 6th, C6. Come back, hit the 3A, 5, D with the 3 on the G and the B for a C7. It's like a C7 suspended, but more or less we're going for that C7. Alright, and to an E flat position now. So we got our 1s on the DAD. Just make that D shape here, because we're going to go our 3, 5, 3 on the E. Alright, to a G flat position at the 4th fret. So DAD, it's a 4, the 6G. Kind of a similar riff we've seen where we go 6th fret to the 8th fret, because we're doing G flat 6. You know, come on off to 5 on the B with that 6 for a G flat 7. Alright, back to the C riff at the 3 and the 5s. Okay. Same thing we did earlier. And now to the E flat again, and with this we're going to go worrying about this G string more, so don't really need to worry about the E string, just kind of do the 3 on the G, 4 on the B, because we're going to go 3, G, 5 to 3. And at this point we just tack on that riff, you know, at the end of the chorus, the B flat 5, G flat 5, F. At the 8th fret, 4th fret, to the F at the 3. And at the very end, we just kind of get a variation in that C riff, you know. So we got the C power chord at the 3 and the 5s. And then we will hit that 5 on the G again. And then come off of it, keeping that 5D, 3A, and now the 3 on the G for a C7.